So today we're about to have a conversation on a topic, or my least favorite topic, about Dominican Republic. And that topic is dating in Dominican Republic. It is my least favorite topic to talk about when I'm talking about Dominican Republic. And I know you're asking yourself, well, why is that your least favorite topic when everybody wants to know about dating in Dominican Republic? And that's the reason why it's my least favorite, because everybody wants to know. And sometimes it can get a little redundant, you know what I'm saying? And let me give you an example. Anybody know about Rockefeller Records? I'm sure Rockefeller Records, people know about Rockefeller Records. Jay-Z, Dame Dash, Kareem Biggs. But when Dame Dash has interviews, what do you think the questions, his least favorite question for people to ask him when he's doing interviews? You guessed it. Anything about Jay-Z and anything about the Rockefeller heydays. Reason one is because, number one, those days are behind him. He's moved on. That was 20 years ago. You know, it just doesn't interest him anymore because he's moved on. And number two is that he was living that life. So it's not as interesting to him as it is to the people who were watching it from the outside, which is still interesting to them. Like, and now that I'm hearing myself talking, I can understand why people still ask this question to me, is because I can understand them still being interesting, it still being an interesting subject to them, which for me is like, it's not even interesting anymore because I don't live that life anymore. So, but I do understand that guys do have this question when I meet them. And I know I mentioned in the past about meeting with guys and not wanting to discuss, you know, women and dating and things like that. And it's not that I don't want to discuss it or I'm not willing to discuss it. To clarify, what I don't want to do is I don't want to spend 90% of the time when we meet up and you're talking about women and you're flipping through your phone on Tinder and your photo album showing me women that you've been with. I don't care. And I don't want to leave my house, my wife and my daughter, or even my balcony where I really enjoy spending time smoking me a cigar, to sit down and listen to someone talk about women, especially when you're paying for it. That's number one, if you're paying for it. Now, if you have a woman that you're seriously trying to vet and you're seriously trying to get in a relationship with, or you're in a relationship with her and you're trying to figure out your next move and the next step, man, I'm all down. I'm down for that. I want to talk to you about that. I want to walk you through that. I want to, you know, be there to help you if I can. But man, when you out here, you know, doing whatever you're doing, I'm not interested in that. So yeah, so that part aside, I just wanted to clarify that. Number two, why it's my least favorite subject, is because a lot of times when I talk to guys, they act like Dominican women are from Mars, like they aliens or something. It's like, at the core, to me, all women are the same. There are some subtle cultural differences, but at the core it's all the same. It's no different from men. I think all men at the core are the same. We all want a beautiful woman and we all want our pelotas drained at the end of the night. And same thing for women. At their core, they want to be provided for and they want provision. And at the end of the month, they want your pockets to be drained. So that's at the core. Now, I just gave you two different extremes, but somewhere between one extreme and the other extreme is where you want to actually fall, or where you will fall. So within this last week or so, I've had about maybe 3 to 4 people ask me the same question. They'll go through their spiel about the women that they've met. And the last question would be, well, man, how do I find a good woman here in Dominican Republic? To be honest, I don't know. Because there's not one place that they congregate or hang out here in Dominican Republic. But what I do know is there are good women here in the country. I know I should not be talking about this. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm married. Yeah. Oh, I remember when I put out that Sasua video, man. I had this guy, I'm telling you, man, he had his thong on that day, man. It was all up his crotch, man. And he was like, you shouldn't be talking about this. You married. You ought to be glad you got a woman. I'm like, shut up. I'm talking about it because I want to talk about it, and I'm going to continue to talk about whatever I want to talk about. How about that? So casual dating is not my expertise, because I wasn't casually dating here. So I don't know. So if you're looking for casual dating advice, I'm not the guy for you. When I was talking to these guys, I gave them information from my perspective. And I will say it again, take this with a grain of salt, because I'm married. I can be wrong. And you know what? If I am, I'm just wrong. But I'm just telling you my experience when I'm out here in the streets moving around, how I would do it if I was single and I moved here to Dominican Republic. So let me preface it that way. And typically when I talk to guys, I try to find out one or two things. You know, are you gonna be moving here, or are you just passing through? Because if you're just passing through, then there's nothing for me to tell you. I don't know how to work the pass through life. You know what I'm saying? You have to go talk to the guys that live that life, and you know there's channels for that. But this not the channel. But if you're a guy that's coming and you're looking to live here, you're looking to spend some time, whether it's part-time, 3 to 6 months out the year, but just spend some real time. Because for me, I believe personally that in order for you to find, or not in order for you to find, but to increase your chances of finding a good woman, you have to live here. You have to. Now, don't get me wrong. There are examples of people who didn't live here and found a woman. So I'm not saying it's impossible. But for me, I believe to increase your chances, you need to have what my guy Jerry says from Jerry and Shayla's Island Living, boots on the ground. He'll tell you that every time. You need boots on the ground. And I concur. Now, if you want a quality girl and you're just passing through, chances are she won't deal with you, because she's gonna think all you wanna do is do the hit and run and move on to the next one. So she's not gonna deal with you for the most part. Now listen, we know there are exceptions to the rule, but for this conversation that we're having now, that way I don't have to put all these disclaimers in front of it. Let's just say we're talking in general. In general, a woman that thinks that you're passing through, a respectful woman, let's put that on there. We're talking about respectful women. We're not talking about the other one. We're talking about respectful women. If she knows you're passing through, chances are she won't deal with you. I know this because I see when I tell women when I'm out and about that I live here, there's a different type of response that I get. Oh, you live here, really? And then the questions start going, and this and that, asking all this, asking certain things about, me living here. So when they find out you live here, the conversation typically changes. Another thing that I see when I'm out and about, and I say this too with guys that I talk to, while I believe living here matters, is because through your day-to-day life and the things that you do, day-to-day activities, you're typically going to some of the same places. Like you pretty much shop in the same supermarkets. Like I shop in Amigos sometime. I shop in Supermercado Nacional all the time. I go to the same pharmacies, the same two pharmacies. Is one that I go to a GBC, and I also go to a Carol. You go to some of the same restaurants for happy hour. You go to the same bank, or you find a couple of banks you go to and you frequent. When you go to these places, you typically meet the employees that are working there. And a lot of these places, all have a whole lot of women. I see some of the same faces when I go places. Like when I go to Arturo Fuentes, everybody in Arturo Fuentes knows me. When I go in there, I was in there with a guy just recently, And I walked in there, they called me by name. He's like, man, everybody in here know you. Yeah, everybody in there know me. All the women know me. All the the men who are the waiters, all of them know me. Even when I go to T-Pat to pick up my Amazon packages, number of women work there. When I walk in there, only thing I do is say saludo. And I don't have to say my name, I ain't gotta get no number. I just walk in and I already know they're taking care of me. When you do stuff like that, people tend to get to know you and know who you are. Like at Arturo Fuentes, they already know what type of cigar I smoke, so they're like, oh, he likes this cigar. When I go to T-Pat, they know because they go through my packages, well, not go through them, but they know what's in the packages. Of course, you just can't ship stuff without them opening it up and seeing what's in it. So they see all my Amazon stuff. They even saw when, and this is what really got them, when they shipped my YouTube plaque. When they shipped that YouTube plaque and they knew that I was on YouTube, man, their whole attitude changed. So they know a little bit about me. Same thing when I go to the supermarket national. Most of them, even though it's much bigger, it's not as small as the other two I just spoke about. A lot of the people still know who I am. Certain cashiers know who I am. And so most of the time I would just go to their cash register because I know, they're nice and they're pleasant. And, I always have a brief conversation or exchange with them. So that's how I recommend, if you're coming here and you want to stay long term, is to have boots on the ground. And again, this strategy takes time. So if you're a road warrior and you're coming here for, your long weekend from the US, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. This strategy just doesn't work for that type of individual. You have to live here. Like I said, I don't have a get rich quick scheme strategy for dating in Dominican Republic. And if there is matter of fact, they already got a get rich quick scheme for dating in Dominican Republic. It's called Tinder. So yeah, if you want to get rich quick, then you have to go there. But if you're looking for quality, then you have to be boots on the ground. And I'm gonna say this too. It doesn't mean that on Tinder, they're not quality women, because I know people who have met their wives on Tinder or met their girlfriend on Tinder. But again, we all know that Tinder is filled with a lot of fluff too. So you just got to be careful on those dating sites. That's all I would say. Just have to be careful. Again, my guy Jerry, he told you guys what you need to do and how to vet people on Tinder. He did it. And shout out to him and his wife Shayla. And yes, Jerry knows how to navigate that. So if you're looking for that type of advice, like through Tinder, holler at Jerry. He can help you out on that. And another way I say you can meet women here is just being out. Just going to the places where they are. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, again, you still have to be boots on the ground, because even if you go to the places where the quality women are, if they find out you don't live here, chances are they're not gonna look your way again. So what's one of those places that I would go if I was out and about? And that place would be a Colmado. I would go sit at a Colmado and just hang out on certain days. Not every day. I'll go on certain days, mainly on Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays, even on a Thursday. But you can really go any day. But most of the time, those days right there, they be crunk. And I say this too, not all Colmados are created equal either. You know what I'm saying? There's a few that I like. You know what I'm saying? There's a few that I like. But the ones I would mostly hang out at, if it were me, are ones that dear businesses, because after work, people go there to have a drink, and at least they got a job, they got the uniform on. So those are the type of Colmados that I would go to kind of see if I can meet some quality. Now, if you just want to go to a Colmado and have a great time and just drink, music, dance, those type of Colmados are probably not for you. The ones that I'm talking about around the business area, because usually those are in upper or middle class neighborhood. The music is not going to be up loud. Most of the time people just sitting there and they're just having a good time, just drinking. Like the Colmado here near my house, our apartment. You don't hear a whole bunch of music. You don't hear music at all. It's low. If they do, it's really low. I've been up there before. I've set up at the Colmado before, and I've seen them there at that Colmado, just there after work, bam, just chilling. So yeah, those type of Colmados I go to. One of my favorite ones is Mimo. It's right down the street from Fusion. Listen, go there on a Friday or Saturday. go there. And the next place I recommend going to are some of these nicer restaurants. They don't have to actually be high-end restaurants, but just, not your typical pico pollo type restaurant, but it's a nice restaurant with nice setting, nice vibe, nice ambience. You know what I'm saying? It's not expensive or nothing like that. I mean, you get your drink for 350 pesos, something like that, or 400, just depend on. But it's just the ambience and the environment. And one of those restaurants I would recommend is La Posta Bar. Listen, you go there on a Friday night or a Saturday night, around 10:30. Well, you probably won't have nowhere to sit around that time. We got there, I think, around 8:30 one time. We stayed there pretty much all night. But you go there, man, listen, they are there. Listen, they are there. But places like that where you can meet or see quality women. And listen, I don't have a laundry list of saying, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this, or go here, go here, go here, go here. I'm just giving you strategies and things that you can do to put yourself in the position to meet good women. And this is from experience. I'm telling you what I know, because number one, I frequent a lot of places all the time. I see the same people. I encounter them. We have conversations. I'm telling you, that's a good way to meet someone. If they're interested in you, it's an easier sell than out the blue walking up on her. It's just easier because they already know you, because they see you all the time. The other one is just going to Camados, man, sitting up at the Camados. Most of the time, women go to Camados, they be there scoping too. You know what I'm saying? They be there scoping. You can see them. They be in there in groups, and sometimes they after work, and then sometimes they may just be there scoping. So go to Camados, go to restaurants. I've been to La Posta. I'm telling you, every time I go, it's off the chain. So these are the things that I think will help position you better to finding the person that you want. And keep this in mind, there are more variables that are involved than you just positioning yourself. I'm just giving you the strategy to position yourself because, number one, I don't know what you look like. I don't know what your taste is. I don't know what you talk like. I don't know how you dress. All that stuff is gonna play a part in the type of woman that you'll be able to attract. I'm just telling you, when you go to these places or you do some of these things, it puts you in a better position. Doesn't mean you're gonna always win because I don't know you. I've been here 3 years. I've seen how certain things work, and this is how I would play the game. But I know some people gonna say he don't know what he talking about. He wrong, he married, he ain't got no right to say that. That's fine. I can be as wrong as I want to be. But guess what? Tonight, I'm going to roll up against my wife with her soft skin. And she got that. And I'm going to be okay. You going to still be the one that ain't got nobody. So until then, remember, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present because that's the only way you're going to live your best life. And I'm out. Peace.
Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Something you and me, oh. Je begon aan mijn best life, yeah. Jumping, flexing, no.